The Life and Sad Ending of Lyle Lovett. Lyle Lovett was born Lyle Pearce Lovett on November 1, 1957, in Houston, Texas, U.S. Suburb. Lovett was raised on his family horse ranch. He didn't begin his musical career until he began writing songs while attending Texas A&M University in the late 70s, where he studied journalism and German. While he was a student, he performed covers and original songs at local folk festivals and clubs. As a graduate student, he traveled to Germany to study and continued to write and play while he was in Europe. However, he didn't begin to pursue a musical career in earnest until he returned to America in the early 80s. Upon his return to the States, Lovett played clubs throughout Texas, eventually landing a spot in the 1983 Mickey Rooney TV movie Bill, on his own. The following year, Nancy Griffith, whom Lyle had interviewed for a school paper while he was in college, recorded his If I Were the Woman You Wanted on her Once in a Very Blue Moon album. He also sang on the album as well as her 1985 record Last of the True Believers. Guy Clark heard a demo tape of Lovett's songs in 1984 and directed it toward Tony Brown of MCA Records. Over the next year, MCA worked out the details of a record contract with Lyle. In the meantime, he made his first recorded appearance on Fast Folk magazine, Volume 2 No. 8 later in the year. Lovett signed with MCA Curb in 1986, releasing his eponymous debut later in the year. Lyle Lovett received excellent reviews, and 5 of its singles farther down the line, The Top 10 Cowboy Man, God Will, Why I Don't Know, and Give Back My Heart reached the country top 40. Pontiac, his second album, revealed exactly how eclectic and literate Lovett was. Greeted with overwhelmingly positive reviews from both country and mainstream publications upon its 1987 release, Pontiac expanded his audience in the pop and rock markets. The album charted in the lower reaches of the pop charts and slowly worked its way toward gold status. While his pop audience grew, his country fan base began to shrink. She's No Lady and I Loved You Yesterday both made the top 30, but after those 2 songs, none of his other singles cracked the country top 40. Lyle Lovett and his large band. It didn't matter that Lovett's country audience was disappearing. Pontiac had gained enough new fans in the pop mainstream to guarantee him a strong cult following. To support Pontiac, he assembled his large band, which was a modified big band complete with guitars, a cellist, a pianist, horns, and a gospel-trained backup singer named Francine Reed. Lovett recorded his third album, Lyle Lovett and His Large Band, with his touring band. Like its 2 predecessors, the album was well received critically upon its early 1989 release, and it performed well commercially, peaking at number 62 and eventually going gold. Perhaps because of the album's eclectic, jazzy sound, the album produced only 1 minor country hit in I Married Her Just Because She Looks Like You, but his straight rendition of Tammy Wynette's Stand By Your Man received a great deal of attention in the media. Following the release of his large band, Lovett settled in California, which signaled that he was abandoning the country. After moving to Los Angeles, he spent the next 2 years collaborating and working on his 4th album. In 1990, he produced Walter Hyatt's King Tears album. The following year, he sang on Leo Kottke's Great Big Boy and donated a cover of Friend of the Devil to the Grateful Dead tribute album Dedicated. Also in 1991, he made his acting debut in Robert Altman's The Player, which was released in the spring of 1992. A few months after The Player hit the theaters, Lovett's 4th album, Joshua Judge's Ruth, was released. Boasting a heavy gospel and R&B influence, Joshua Judge's Ruth was his most successful album to date, peaking at number 57 and going gold. Despite the success of Joshua Judge's Ruth, Lovett became a near superstar for a completely different reason in 1993, his surprise marriage to actress Julia Roberts. Upon the announcement of their marriage, Lovett became the subject of many gossip segments and tabloid stories, elevating him to a level of fame he had not experienced before. Lyle's first project after his marriage was a role in Altman's 1993 film Short Cuts. He didn't release another album until the fall of 1994 when I Love Everybody hit the stores. A collection of songs Lovett wrote in the late 70s and early 80s. I Love Everybody continued his move away from the country, and it was the first record he had released that didn't expand his audience in some way. After it entered the charts at number 26, it disappeared 13 weeks later, failing to go gold. Lovett and Roberts divorced in the spring of 1995, and Lyle began to retreat from the spotlight somewhat, spending the remainder of the year touring and writing. Lovett re-emerged with The Road to Ensenada, the first album since Pontiac to be dominated by country songs, in the summer of 1996. In addition to performing well on the pop charts, where it entered at a career peak of number 24, The Road to Ensenada performed strongly on the country charts, entering at number 4. The two-disc covers album Step Inside This House followed in 1998, featuring mostly underexposed material penned by some of Lovett's favorite songwriters. In 1999, Lovett issued his first concert record, Live in Texas, and his soundtrack to the Altman film Dr. T and the Women followed a year later. Smile, a collection of songs recorded for various movie soundtracks, appeared in 2003, followed that same year by My Baby Don't Tolerate on Lost Highway. The label also released It's Not Big It's Large in 2007 and Natural Forces in 2009. A holiday EP, Songs for the Season, appeared in 2011, and a couple of tracks from it ended up on Release Me, which appeared in 2012. Over the next few years, Lovett maintained a low profile, playing concerts regularly and sometimes appearing on television. His biggest role was a 10-episode stint on The Bridge in 2013 and 2014. In 2017, Curb released Greatest Hits, a collection of Lovett's charting country singles. In personal life, Lovett married actress Julia Roberts after meeting her on the set of The Player. Following a 3-week romance, they eloped and married in June 1993 in Marion, Indiana. In March 1995, they divorced after less than 2 years of marriage. People magazine reported that the breakup was caused by career demands. They remained friends afterward. Since late 1997, Lovett has been in a relationship with April Kimball. They became engaged in 2003. They were married on February 4, 2017, in Harris County, Texas. On March 28, 2002, Lovett was trapped by a bull against a fence on his uncle's farm in Klein, Texas, before being pulled to safety. He fully recovered after 6 months from a badly broken leg, and he began touring again in summer 2003. Probably, right now is his worst time when his health is slowly deteriorating. Thank you for listening to the story about the life of Lyle Lovett. Like and comment on your opinion in the comments section below.